I feel often that this terrible feeling of being alone, of being ashamed, of being in the closet.
I worry that I would end up back in the closet again.
So many people go without the care that they need because they don't want to disclose, they don't want to be outed.
This video will help you learn to create a safe, welcoming experience for LGBT seniors. It will demonstrate that you are someone who not only tolerates the fact that they are lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, but who welcomes them and wants to learn what it takes in order to help orchestrate their best possible health outcomes. Our country's senior population is growing rapidly, with baby boomers already in their 60s. If you work at a long-term care facility, please know that a percentage of the seniors there are lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, whether or not they have told you about it. Residential care facility staff is probably committed to serving everyone equally. However, doing this for LGBT seniors means using an intentionally welcoming approach. These seniors often require a layer of trust that differs from that of non-LGBT seniors, and even differs from LGBT youth.
That would be one of the great things about having any other gay people there. I would be able to sit with them and say, you know, what was it like for you?
In recent years, LGBT people have made significant advances within American society. Despite this, LGBT seniors often still carry trauma and fear, rooted in decades of harsh repression. It's easy to forget that their experience of coming of age and maturing into adults happened in a much different time, a time when LGBT people were stigmatized. In the 20th century, fear, discrimination, and secrecy dominated the experience of being LGBT. When our current seniors were growing up, and even throughout middle age, LGBT people could legally be jailed, fired from their jobs, evicted from their homes, expelled from their churches, or have their children taken away. Many experienced repeated day-to-day alienation, imposed by people around them and even self-imposed in order to keep a job or stay safe.
We stayed in the closet because of our jobs.
I was the director of a nonprofit social agency, and fearful of being discovered at one point, you know.
Most of their life has probably been spent hiding in some capacity, whether it's from their landlord, their boss, their nosy neighbors. I imagine in some ways when you go to a facility, it's probably actually easier to hide than it is to be out, which is very different generationally.
I depended on my neighbors. I didn't know how they felt about gay people, and so I just hopped right back in the closet.
In the current generation of LGBT seniors, many did not have children. Because of this, and because some were alienated from their families of origin, LGBT seniors are less likely to have anyone to care for them, and are more likely to live in poverty, be socially isolated, and have unresolved health issues.
At least 10% of the population is LGBT. Even small towns everywhere has a community.
As far as I know, I'm the only transgender person here.
We have not only seniors moving into facilities where they feel like they're the only LGBT, they possibly feel like they have to go into the closet again, most likely, but they also are farther away from their communities, both physically and sort of emotionally, socially, their ties. And so they're really isolated.
In the place I live, I feel totally lonely.
That is why it is so very important to convey the message that they can be safe in opening up to you. If a resident identifies as LGBT and you are privy to that, you will then have created an atmosphere where they can be comfortable speaking freely. This is an incredibly important thing for anyone. It will truly provide a caring culture in your facility. The first and perhaps most important general practice is simply this. Remember to never assume every senior is heterosexual.
I don't know what LGBT is.
The term LBG means nothing to me. I've never heard it before, really.
Terminology is something many people worry about, so we tackle that first. What we tell you about LGBT and the acronyms used here in this video reflects how this community's members currently identify. Terminology may not hold true in 5 years or may have evolved differently in different parts of the country, so flexibility is a good thing. Most often, though, you will hear simply LGBT or LGBTQ. It is certainly a best practice to use one of these when talking with a senior. We recommend starting with LGBT. It is easy to remember and a good opening as it shows you understand them from the get-go. LGBT people may never reveal their identities and of course should never be pressured to do so. But if your resident opens up, you can ask what term they prefer. If the acronym is hard for you to remember and you make a mistake, it's okay to let them know you're learning.
I say I'm gay. That's how I identify myself.
I identify as gay.
I've always thought of myself as bisexual.
I'm a dyke.
There isn't too many straighter people than myself.
I identify as a lesbian.
Even though I'm an FDM, I'm straight.
I identify as gay.
I identify as lesbian.
There needs to be respect for how people identify themselves. And when people identify proudly and create a community and have struggled as hard as these seniors have just to be recognized as LGBT and to have their partnerships respected and recognized, to then dismiss that and assume that they don't identify a certain way is so disrespectful and demoralizing.
The L is for lesbian, women who are attracted to other women. G, gay, is sometimes used to refer to everyone in the non-heterosexual community, though it's most commonly used to describe men who are attracted to other men. Bisexuals are attracted to both men and women to varying degrees. Some bisexuals may feel not quite accepted or even discriminated against by both LGBT people and heterosexuals. The T for transgender means presenting or identifying one's gender as other than one's gender at birth.
Trans folks are folks who were born in a gender that they don't believe represents them, that they don't belong in their gender. And that presents tremendous hurdles, especially for this population.
Someone in this group, born male, will feel the need to live life as a woman or express themselves as such. Transgender can also refer to anyone who is transitioning in the process of becoming another gender through hormone therapy, surgery, or through general self-acceptance. Some may have physical elements of their birth physicality as well as their transitional physicality. Some have surgery, others do not or cannot. They also may have special medication requirements. Some may have changed their names, including on their driver's license or birth certificate. Whatever way they identify in pronouns, gender must be honored. We cannot stress this enough. Every human deserves to feel genuine and comfortable with their external appearance and expression. It is extremely isolating and a mistreatment to dismiss someone's authentic identity.
When a resident tells you that they want to be called a she or a he, you respect that and you tell your staff and you make notes, and regardless of what you think.
Gender identity is independent of sexual orientation. For example, a transgender person may identify as heterosexual, bisexual, or homosexual, or elsewhere on the traditional continuum. Finally, transgender people may not identify as transgender at all, but simply as male or female. Those who cross-dress or wear drag are not necessarily transgender. Those of any sexual orientation might do this. Next, let's look at the word queer, which is what the Q typically stands for in LGBTQ.
Queer was a bad word when I was first coming out.
I had enough experience in my early life with people saying, hey, he's a queer. That stuff right there, that experience of the hatred that was behind that, the word's very loaded from back in those years.
It was done in a demeaning manner to make someone feel less than a human being. But I'm glad that the young people took that word and turned it around.
For many younger people, queer usually means all or any of the above. But for people who came of age prior to the mid-1970s, queer can feel derisive because it was used for decades as an insult. As a result, many, though not all, older LGBT seniors don't use the word, nor do they like to be considered or referred to as queer. So abstain from that term, just to be safe. The term homosexual is still used in clinical or formal instances, such as research or comparing homosexual behavior to heterosexual behavior, for example, and some elders may refer to themselves as such. However, in direct communication, it's considered inappropriate to ask someone if they are a homosexual. Coming out or coming out of the closet means letting other people know that one is LGBT. This can be a painful process for some and joyful for others, depending on their level of support and other circumstances. It's important to remember that this has led many LGBT elders to have families of choice, meaning friends and others who are their primary systems. Remember to include this when creating policies or programs that relate to residents' families or visitors.
High school was hard, not knowing anybody else and having these feelings that really didn't have a word.
I had big challenges with my family of origin in Wisconsin.
People would stare at me. Look at that. Look at it. What is it? Is it a man? Is it a woman? And I internalized all that.
If you're from the Panhandle of Texas in the 50s, 60s, you're not gay, you just mess around and you get married. You have to get married.
I've seen a lot of people call gay people all kinds of names and do stuff to them, and I don't think that's right.
It has been so hard. It has been such a battle for them to come out, that to be in a place where they have to announce and tell who they are, that's just not going to feel safe for them. They're in such a vulnerable situation.
Some seniors today may have come out and lived life out, but have recently felt the need to go back in the closet, that is, hide their identities. This phenomenon is common when an LGBT senior begins to feel vulnerable with age and starts to rely more on others. They naturally feel the need to protect themselves from possible caregiver reactions, ranging from lack of respect to physical or emotional abuse. Some LGBT seniors report receiving cold baths, rough handling, and stern religious lectures from their caregivers, and nearly 9 out of 10 surveyed in a report called Stories from the Field said that they thought long-term care staff would discriminate against someone who came out in a facility. 8 in 10 responded that they would expect mistreatment or bullying from nursing home residents.
I've had friends that have been in facilities that they felt it was not safe to say who they were.
Some guy that sat across from me requested that they assign him to a different table.
Well, I certainly wouldn't want to walk up on a couple of nurses telling homophobic jokes or, pointing their finger at somebody.
It's a hard thing to think about and think about ending up in that situation.
How will LGBT residents know they will be treated with respect when they are in a vulnerable position of seeking long-term care?
They need to show support and show that they are a caring, safe facility, which in turn means that if you do have trouble there, that there's someone that will step in and help you with that trouble.
In the marketing materials, on your website, you should have gay couples.
There's a lot of great programs that have been done. There are stickers that say this is an LGBT safe place, putting it in the windows prominently, really starting conversations with staff Also with other residents, maybe showing a documentary around Stonewall or the Compton cafeteria riots is great movies to provide residents with a sense that this is part of our population.
There are many low-cost ways that you can demonstrate welcoming services. Display a poster or picture, or even just a sticker depicting a rainbow or a pink triangle. These two symbols have been used for decades as signs of awareness, connection, and association with the LGBT community. These seemingly small gestures, likely unnoticed by many, will be immediately noticed by most LGBT seniors, especially those who have spent much of their lives looking for signs of safety. These gestures can make all the difference in lowering anxiety levels. When you create this visually welcoming environment, also include sexual orientation and gender identity along with race, religion, and disability, and other protected classes in your non-discrimination policy. Post your policy in the lobby and any room where staff gathers. The Federal Nursing Home Reform Act requires residential care facilities to provide services and activities to attain or maintain the highest physical, mental, and psychosocial well-being of each resident. Discrimination, abuse, or neglect against LGBT older adults would violate those standards. Your non-discrimination policy must include LGBT cultural sensitivity training so everyone there understands why and how to serve this population. The policies and procedures used in LGBT welcoming services should be emphasized in new hire orientations. Have staff wear rainbow pins as a quiet symbol to LGBT seniors that they are welcomed and can speak freely. Conveying the importance of confidentiality is an essential part of such training. Any staff member may become aware that a resident is LGBT and should absolutely maintain that in confidentiality or risk possible harm to the resident. Sometimes it may seem helpful to introduce two residents you may know to both be gay, but it's important to ask and receive clear permission from both before doing so. When hiring new employees, screen for homophobia using questions such as, how would you feel about working with LGBT seniors?
First thing I would say is people that are identifying in any of the LGBT need to have someone that's non-judgmental, how the care is given. Because there can be a subconscious bias against someone that could result in care that isn't as genuine or as delicate.
Someone may state that for religious or other reasons, they prefer not to participate in LGBT sensitivity trainings. This will likely become a barrier to LGBT seniors accessing services at your site. Again, tolerating LGBT individuals feels like active discrimination to the person being tolerated.
If a gay person moves in, and he moves right next door to me, the only advice I have to give him is keep it to himself.
Folks say, you know what, I don't care what they do in their bedroom is their own thing. I think that completely diminishes them, and I think it also really highlights that when we think about LGBT seniors or LGBT folks in general, we get really stuck on a very small part of their relationship.
I always want to expand the conversation from how's sex going, or what do you do with sex, or what. That is such a small part of what our relationship is about.
Acceptance means like you are okay and willing to hang out with this person and get to know them on a deeper level. That's what acceptance to me is.
Paperwork and forms are some of the most important ways in which your clients initially communicate with you. Review the documents used in your facility and ask, is there space for people to check their gender identity as something other than male or female, including transgender, intersex, or other? Do they include questions about sexual orientation? Not everyone will disclose, but if they do, it will make interviewing more comfortable for everyone. Are there options for those who are in long-term relationships but not married, such as significant other or same-sex partner? This generation may just refer to their partner as boyfriend, girlfriend, or simply roommate, which may be all they have been allowed in the past and something they may have grown accustomed to. Facilities must permit same-sex couples to live in the same room. Use open-ended questions that focus on behaviors and support systems. For example, tell me about the people you consider to be among your closest friends and significant others. In general, all seniors should be asked about their support system rather than children, or about their partner rather than spouse. If you do use the word spouse, then you should also say partner. For example, do you have a partner or spouse?
First thing they said to me, do you live alone? And I said, I'm a widow. And when did your husband die? And I said, 3 years ago.
For these folks especially who have been ostracized by family, probably lost jobs in their life, maybe kicked out of the military, and really had to struggle even to be recognized with their partner, that this is really their identity.
Somebody has to reach out, and I think it's often on a one-to-one basis, of starting out with questions that are quite general, actually. Do you have somebody you can really connect with and talk with?
Staff must accept a medical power of attorney when it is assigned to a resident's partner, regardless of sexual identity. Next, advertise and post job announcements in publications that market to the LGBT community. Publish articles of interest to the LGBT community on your website or in your newsletter. Offer to make presentations at groups that include or focus on LGBT seniors.
These little things go a long way in building a culture within the facility that is accepting and open and recognizes that diversity brings a lot of value.
If one of the staff is a health clinician, we recommend they watch our other video, Creating a Healthcare Practice Welcoming to LGBT Seniors. It demonstrates ways to indicate to LGBT residents that they can be comfortable discussing their sexuality so that healthcare staff can appropriately address their LGBT-related health concerns. Bullying and harassment are unfortunately all too common and are often ignored by staff.
A lot of times it's the other residents that have a lot of issues with LGBT folks.
Here are some ways to prevent and address bullying or harassment and promote understanding, equality, and mutually respectful treatment among residents. Establish a safe environment. Send a message that no one should be treated differently because they are or perceived to be LGBT. Upon intake or when reviewing facility policies, let everyone know that bullying is taken very seriously and will be addressed firmly and quickly. Additionally, develop language that includes the possibility of allowing for dementia while protecting the LGBT resident. Most care facilities have seen individuals with dementia express racist or other discriminatory remarks that cannot be resolved with counseling. In these cases, move the resident being harassed so that they are least likely to encounter that person. If a transgender resident must share a room, check in with them about the gender of the roommate they are comfortable rooming with. Their roommate should be someone who treats them with dignity and respect. Train staff often and include practicing responses and interventions that are calm but firm. Staff may witness bullying, know it is wrong, but may not feel equipped to intervene and so do nothing. Have trainers come in to conduct open presentations, discussions that address common myths and misconceptions about LGBT people. Teach empathy. Establish gay-straight alliance groups the same way you would any other group. If you show films, include those from time to time with LGBT-identified main characters. Celebrate Gay Pride Month in June.
Who wants to go see the Pride Parade? And we would get a contingent up, and that would be so affirming for that person, and or do some sort of arts and crafts during that time.
Finally, have the director periodically review how well all staff and facility are doing in maintaining an inclusive LGBT-friendly service and what could be done better. Survey the residents, a great way to stay welcoming for the long haul well after this training. The following are reenactments of situations that may occur at your healthcare facility. For each scenario, there are two versions. The first will show a staff member handling a situation in an inappropriate and, unhelpful way. The second models mindful and respectful behavior. Here are some possible situations that you may encounter.
Oh, hi, I'm Shoshana.
Leonard,
nice to meet you.
We spoke on the phone.
That's right. Welcome to Linden Groves. Are you two brothers?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Well, let me show you that one bedroom I was talking to you about.
Thank you.
Let's try that again.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Linden Groves. I'm Shoshana. Nice to meet you.
Spoke on the phone.
Of course. Hi.
I'm Joe.
Hey, I like your pen.
Oh, thank you so much.
We're together.
That's wonderful. Hey, let me show you the one bedroom that we were talking about. Come on.
Terrific. Thank you.
That was fun, wasn't it?
The holiday party? Yeah.
A lot of families this year. Did you see Marlene's grandkids? They were the cutest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you ever have a husband or any kids of your own? Carmen, did you
No,
ever?
I didn't go that route.
I'm just gonna get some of these dishes done. Let's try that again. That was fun, wasn't it?
The holiday party? Yeah.
Carmen, tell me about when you were younger. Did you have a partner?
Actually, I did.
I would love to see some photos, or if you have any.
Okay. She died about 4 years ago.
You must have loved her a lot.
I did. I did.
Hello?
Yes? Who are you?
I'm here to help you get dressed today, Miss Johnson.
Linda usually does that.
Linda's not here today, but it's okay. I'm happy to help. Here, let me help you.
I think I got it.
It's okay. It's nothing I haven't seen before. Let's just take off your pants. Oh, I didn't expect to see that.
It's okay.
Your file said female.
Let's try that again.
Hi there.
Who are you?
I'm Karen. I'm here to help you get dressed today. Is that okay?
Linda usually does that.
I'm sorry, Miss Johnson. Linda's out sick today, but can I help in any way?
I think I got it.
You sure?
No, I don't think so.
Here. You're all set and looking great.
Thank you.
What are you trying to prove, freak? Stop acting like a weirdo. You're scaring people.
I'm not a weirdo. Leave me alone.
You think it's normal to dress like that?
Yes, actually.
Oh, really?
Billy, come on. Give the guy a break. He's just different.
Let's try that again.
What are you trying to prove, freak? Stop acting like a weirdo. You're scaring people.
I'm not a weirdo. Leave me alone.
You think it's normal to dress like that?
Yes, actually.
Oh, really?
Billy, that's not cool. Lee is a human being just like anyone with feelings and deserves respect. Can you come with me for a minute? Billy, please remember our rules. No one gets bullied or disrespected, okay?
But
Lee is entitled to express her gender just like you. Now, I know this won't happen again, but I have to let the director know what just happened so it's in your file. We protect everyone here. You okay?
I'm okay.
I'm so sorry that happened, Lee, but I'm going to let the director know, and please don't hesitate to talk with her yourself about this, or if it ever happens again. It's important to us that you feel safe here.
Thank you for that.
The advice I would give a person working with LGBT people is just treat them like everybody else. There's no difference in us and the other people, it's just that we happen to be gay.
You want somebody to be nice to you, you treat them nice.
I just suggest that they get to know me better.
Try and let people open up to you as to who they are.
Get the conversation going and then keep it going, because that's when people change.
See what things I cry about and what things I'm happy about, and realize that those things are coming from a gay person.
We're no different than you.
It's important to me that these facilities get trained and educated, and that they don't answer back with the question, oh, we don't have any of those people here. We don't need to be trained. We don't need to be educated.
What does it matter if you're gay, lesbian? I mean, what does it matter? I'd just be so glad when films like this will be put in a museum and people say, you know what? How did they survive that? How did they survive those times? I'm 67 now. Hopefully the next generation will not have to go through this.
LGBT is a huge umbrella term. It's not just about sexual orientation, it can also be about gender. Remember that people are people. Each individual is a unique person with unique interests, styles, skills, and experiences, just the same as anyone. Everyone wants to be safe and visible. Go to this website for more information and resources to help make your care facility welcoming to LGBT seniors. Download the Welcoming Provider Checklist and Emblem display. The checklist is a succinct guide to welcoming services for LGBT seniors. The emblem is a placard with a rainbow and the words LGBT elders, safe, visible, and celebrated.